everyone world over. It's a pleasure. It's Saturday evening in India. It's about 8 p.m. And we extend a very hearty welcome to all our brothers and sisters world over in the different countries, in the different continents, in the different time zones, wherever they are. We extend them a very warm welcome. It's indeed a great pleasure to have them in safe position. Things should get better, health should get better, world should get better, and people should get better. So, ladies and gentlemen, while extending a very hearty welcome this evening to our distinguished guest, Mr. Ashish Bhatnagar ji, the principal, International School in Seychelles. Now, before emotionally we take you and spiritually, emotionally, socially, with your well-being, we take you all the way to Seychelles. Let me share a couple of slides with all of you so that we all are on the common frequency. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful slide. Try and spot what it is. Yes, you can come on the YouTube. When you're logged in, you can just write over there what exactly it is. What are we trying to show you? Let me also come on the YouTube and write over here on my, yes, I can see over here this particular program live, and all of us, when we are enjoying, here it is. Great. So anybody, any wild guess what exactly I'm trying to show you over here? Great. Wow. That's lovely. It's a beautiful bird which we are trying to show you over here. And we are trying to show you a couple of things related to empathy and how it connects the whole world. This is also something beautiful which my colleague Dr. Chitra has done. And that is basically you got to see we are the part of nature. The entire universe is one. And अगर हम प्रकृति के साथ रहते हैं, if we live with nature and if we live in harmony with nature, the world would be a better place. All of us, we got to allow every tree. ये पेड़ बातें भी करते हैं, इन पेड़ की एम्पैथी भी होती है, इन पेड़ों को म्यूजिक भी होता है. कभी इन पेड़ों के पास जाकर देखिए, जब आप पेड़ काटने की कोशिश करते हैं तो उस पेड़ को देखिए. So thereby, ladies and gentlemen, let's plant more and more wonderful emotional trees and human linkages world over. International Chamber for Service Industry, which is in your service since 1994. And it is a proud privilege that today the family has grown. There are more than 30 million non-resident Indians at abroad at this point of time. And when we started our journey in 1994, when I stepped out of the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, so that time initially started with 6,000 people, then 10,000, then 20,000, then 30,000, then 40,000. And 2003, when we met then the Honorable Prime Minister of India, late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, there was a birth of Bharatiya Parvasi Divas. And that's a wonderful journey and wonderful concept we got from there. During this pandemic, during this difficult moment when 1.86 billion children, they are away from schools, colleges, universities, institutions. So doctors, nurses, paramedical people, they're great warriors, but I would consider all educators across the globe, world over, wherever they are doing their best whatsoever they can. And they're putting in so much of efforts, and hats off to all of them. And we salute them. We send our blessings to them. They're doing a great job. Teachers, educators, principals, headmasters, psychologists, counselors, everybody, and including technocrats, they are very important. India always believes that whole world is one family, and that is Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. That's the way we look at the whole world. Heartiest congratulations to Honorable Prime Minister of India, Education Minister of India, and all the stakeholders of education, those are there directly or indirectly linked with the education. The wonderful policy being announced on 29th of July, the new education policy 2020, and now the work is being done and sooner it gets implemented and thereafter we monitor the whole thing. Our chamber from morning 9 a.m. till evening 9 p.m., 12 hours, we are live with you throughout the day and where we are trying to communicate world over in different countries, in different time zones, in different conditions with everyone. And our basic purpose is how to make education relevant and how to provide life management skills, which is beyond living skills. Early in the morning, we are in Australia, we are in Fiji, we are in New Zealand, then we come to ASEAN, then we go to Middle East, then we come to Central Asia, then we are also in Mongolia all the way, and Uzbekistan, of course, in Central Asia, then we come to South Asia, then we come to India, and then the final program after today's program, this program, you are in Peru and we are in Mexico, we are in Argentina, we are in Chile, we are in Brazil, we go to Latin America. That's the last program in Spanish language, which is there. This is India's first finishing school, which our chamber set up way back in 1994. And that is basically for service industry, where education is beyond employment, entrepreneurship, with focus on life management skills, creative thinking, critical thinking, analytical thinking, logical thinking, decision making, and values. All thinking skills being taken together. Our focus is only on two areas: youth empowerment and teachers empowerment. If these two fraternities are taken care of, and that's why approximately 400 million plus teachers, children, youth, everybody across the entire India, when we talk about, every day we have a special program for them in the afternoon. और ये कार्यक्रम हिंदी में होता है. क्या चाहता है आज का युवक, आज की युवा पीढ़ी क्या चाहती है, वो अपने जीवन का संचालन अपनी कौशलता के साथ कैसे कर रहे हैं, जुनून क्या है. कुछ भी असंभव नहीं है. Nothing is impossible. Work on your passion and you can achieve whatever you need in your life. So ladies and gentlemen, 362, that is, I'm talking about yesterday afternoon. Every day at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, we have got a special program with the principals, and that is across the globe. Yesterday, we had 6 of them together on a common platform, and it was a digital platform. That was the concept. Every Friday, we are from Singapore, live telecast with Anil Manocha ji, the Senior Advisor, ICSI, and Honorable Education Minister of India's daughter is doing a great job, Arushi Nishank, and she is doing on Sparsh Ganga, Sukh Shanti Smriddhi, what all is to be done. And just little before this particular program, we have a special program every Saturday, Ayurveda for the global wellness. And nowadays we are talking about arthritis. It's a wonderful program which we are doing. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m., it is a journey Vidya se Adhyatam Vidya ki aur, and Professor Satyendra Dhiman will be with us tomorrow morning. And Indian Standard Time, 9:30, all of us, you join us and you enjoy this particular program tomorrow. And ladies and gentlemen, thereafter, at 3 p.m. tomorrow, there's a special guest, Dr. Prabir Day, and he is going to talk about India-ASEAN education ecosystem. That's what we will be talking about. And tomorrow evening, Sunday evening at 5 p.m., you have got a program on micro, small, and the medium enterprise under the dynamic leadership of former chairman of the NSIC, and he's a chairman now at present of the ICSI MSME sector, and he is taking care of how children should go for startup, stand up, and any institution those are interested to have Atal Tinkering Lab or Incubation Center. So helping on that. This is the complete canvas, 25 programs per week from the ICSI. and that is all related to education, nothing else. Making education relevant. शिक्षा को प्रासंगिक बनाना है. During this pandemic, coronavirus, our chamber carried out the survey, research, compilation, synthesis from world over. So world has to get to the back to the basics of life, and B2B is no more business to business. It is back to basics of our life. And over there, ladies and gentlemen, your basic food, your basic health, your basic wellness, all are very important, and sustainable development which has to take care of. And we strongly believe whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So let's get together, all of us. What a privilege, what a beautiful moment. We have been joined live at this moment in India from Seychelles. Shri Ashish Bhatnagar ji, he is the principal, International School in Seychelles. Having education empowerment rich experience of 25 plus years, and out of which 20 plus years is with the Cambridge, IGCSE and A levels. He is a Cambridge certified moderator for computer studies, assessment specialist for A level global perspectives. And he is basically associated with Examiner for A level IT. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in extending a very warm welcome this evening to Ashish Bhatnagar ji, all the way from Seychelles. It's a beautiful country, it's a beautiful place, and when you look at Seychelles, there's a lot to share with all of us. And I think we can have a nice quiz question that when we talk about Seychelles, and before Ashish Bhatnagar ji starts and shares his views with us this evening, let's have one quiz question. Somebody who answers correctly, you should get the cash prize from the chamber. That Seychelles is a part of which continent? Seychelles is a part of which continent or continents? With these words, let me extend a very hearty welcome to Shri Ashish Bhatnagar ji, joining us from Seychelles. Let's go ahead with your thought process, how to empower the entire education ecosystem, and how do you look at it, the whole process, and then at the same time, the social and the emotional well-being of our students as well as teachers. Ashish Bhatnagar ji.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gulshan Sharma. बहुत धन्यवाद, shukriya for giving me this opportunity. And namaskar, everyone. I'm Ashish Bhatnagar this side, and I'm all the way talking to you from a very tiny island nation called Seychelles. In fact, in the globe or in the picture just before my introduction, what Dr. Gulshan Sharma had shown, if you look at the globe, probably you won't even see Seychelles where it is. It's such a tiny, it's a very small island nation right in the middle of Indian Ocean. And yeah, so it's a small country. And of course, last time when I was talking to Dr. Gulshan Sharma, that, okay, we probably were discussing about, what topic should I take and all. He just made a small request that take the people around, on the tour of a small tour of Seychelles before you even begin. And this is how, I've just tried my level best to make you a little more accustomed, about like Seychelles, because very few people have heard about Seychelles, and very few people know about, it's such a small country. But if you know Mauritius, because Mauritius is a very well-known country in India, so Mauritius and Madagascar, it's somewhere close to that in the Indian Ocean. Actually, Seychelles was a part of Mauritius many years ago, like probably in 1700s or something like that. And then Britishers made Seychelles its own colony. So I'll, with all like the permission from Dr. Gulshan Sharma, I would like to start my presentation. Of course, the presentation is all about the topic which I've chosen, like the social and emotional aspects of learning, the social and emotional well-being of the students, and the staff, especially looking at the current scenario of this COVID-19 pandemic. So I'll try and touch the various aspects of teaching and learning, primarily focus on the students. But yes, we will be touching for the teachers as well, because even teachers' well-being is something which I feel has been ignored for quite some time, especially during this pandemic. And I'm sorry to say, I really feel sorry for a lot of teachers, in fact, who are losing their jobs or are doing everything to keep this teaching learning process to continue to go on, but yet probably they are not getting that support which they need from different aspects of the society, not essentially the schools, but even the parents. I'm sorry to say this, but yes. So I'll take you through this. So welcome to this evening, and welcome to this presentation on the social and emotional well-being of students and staff. So,
Wow, what a beautiful aura. Lovely, lovely.
yeah, thank you very much. Yes. In fact, my son helped me a little, in this presentation. So
Great.
I had to give him credit.
My regards to him, my blessings to him.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. Thank you so much. All right. So as we just said, like Seychelles, it's a small island nation, and it's an archipelago of 115 islands in the Indian Ocean, and it's I don't know. This was a quiz question asked by Dr. Sharma, but now you have the answer here. So the cash prize goes to me, I think. Yeah. So it's East Africa, and as I said, like 115 different islands. Some of the islands are actually not inhabited by humans. It's only for wildlife, for the birds, and something which is which is very, very amusing and amazing to me is the giant Aldabra tortoises. I mean, if you see the picture here, you can see those giant tortoises. That's me and my wife and my son in the picture below. And these are the Aldabra species, like tortoises, which are actually huge, very big, and some of them are more than 300 years old, 350 years old. And we met, like a tortoise named Brutus last week. And he was presumably like, I mean, we were told that it was around 200 plus years old. And in one of my
Wow.
previous visits, I met a tortoise which was 400 years old on another island. I mean, this is amazing, like, so though it's a small country, but it's full of natural beauty. People call it, like paradise, as you can see in the pictures. The capital is Victoria on the Mahe Island. So Mahe is one of the islands out of the 115, and the capital, it hosts the capital Victoria here. Fine, as said, like, Seychelles is paradise on earth. So I'm just trying to take you through this some of the uh, pictures. It has got beautiful white sandy beaches. When I say white sandy beaches, I mean it. You can see in the picture that they are absolutely white and very crystal clear water on the beaches. Hats off to this country and the people who are really, really concerned about the environment. They do a lot of beach cleanup activities. Even our school students get involved into it. And we do a lot of such cleanups. And most of the beaches here are absolutely crystal clear. So, as it says, like with the deep blue waters, teeming with sea life and unspoiled shores. Once it was a pirate hideout, like especially one of the islands, which was Prale, another island, very popular destination apart from the Mahe Islands. So
Okay.
you can see the pictures here, and another one. Now, this is a little bit about the economy of Seychelles. Like Seychelles is, in fact, one of the very, very expensive countries to stay in. Um, it has the highest GDP like per capita in Africa at nearly around 17 billion. This is figures from 2019 before the actually outbreak of coronavirus. And unfortunately, Corona has also hit Seychelles very, very bad because Seychelles' economy is primarily dependent on tourism. tourism industry. So yes, it has been hit very, very badly. But still, it is, as I said, like one of the very, very expensive countries, and in fact, it's 17th most expensive country in the world. And if you want to come to the Seychelles, a rough estimate says that you must be prepared to spend at least $110 on an average per person every day. $110. So that's kind of, probably on the minimum side, but as I said, like average. So yeah, the economy is primarily fisheries and tourism. They call it the blue economy, and yes, some offshore activities as well. And you can see another like giant tortoise here on this slide. So you can see how beautiful the country is. Nature has given a lot to Seychelles. And now let's get back to our business, what primarily we were here for. Yeah. Today, as discussed, we will be talking about the social emotional learning aspects and the well-being of the students. And there will be different topics that we will be covering. I'll try and touch base with the different aspects which are very, very important for everyone, like for teachers, parents, students, school management, everyone. I'll just say one thing in Hindi before we even proceed here, that हमारे यहाँ हिंदी में कहते हैं कि भाई मन के हारे हार है और मन के जीते जीत, राइट? तो ये मन के हारे हार जो है, तो हम जीतेंगे तभी जब हमारा मन स्ट्रांग होगा. एंड आई एम श्योर डॉक्टर गुलशन शर्मा, आई मीन यू
बिल्कुल.
यस, यानी हमारा मन, so if you have a strong control over of like our emotional well-being, we are mentally healthy, then we can achieve a lot in life. And there are a lot of factors, like situational factors which are responsible for a lot of such things, which can disturb the aura of this whole social emotional aspect of it. I wanted to touch a little bit on the spiritual aspect as well. Probably somewhere I'll touch about it. And spirituality doesn't have to do anything with the religious things. Um, so it's primarily like social, emotional, and spiritual development and well-being of the students. So what probably I'll try to cover in today's talk will be about self-esteem, the bullying and cyberbullying, which is in fact definitely a very big concern with the online classes going on across the world. In fact, with a lot of schools doing online classes, there have been tremendous increase in the cases, have been reported about cyberbullying and a lot of such issues, which I'll cover. Then digital safety. We talk about anger management. There will be different character traits of students, uh, future goals, the different how to cope up, the coping strategies, motivation, empathy, which Dr. Gulshan Sharma, how he started with, showing a slide on empathy. And then finally, like how you can feel proud about your own achievements. So let's start. Like what social and socio-emotional learning is all about. And we will be talking especially like about, the pandemic, especially this situation. Now, the social and emotional learning, it's an integral part of education and human development, the process through which all young people and adults acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop healthy identities, manage their own emotions, and achieve personal and collective goals, feel and show empathy for others. Now, on the image on the left, you will see, what is social and emotional learning aspects. It covers like respect. This basically a mutual respect between two individuals. Then empathy, self-awareness, the collaboration activities that can happen, self-motivation, again, very, very important, the social engagements, identifying problems, analyzing situations, ethical responsibility, and the international mindedness. Like today, we all say it's a global world. It's a small world. Virtually, we are connected to a lot of people around the world through different either social media platforms. So it's not that we are limited to our own friends and families. People from different parts of the world are in our social circles now. So having that international mindedness also helps. So So now, how and why does this SEL matter? Why is social emotional learning so important? Why should we even consider this? Uh, uh, Unfortunately, like I couldn't find any, like authentic research work done in India for this so far about like the social emotional. Probably Dr. Gulshan Sharma might take me there sometimes later. That yes, we do have some data available, but this data, in fact, is a kind of reflection on world across. Though the study was conducted in the United States by CASEL, an organization which says like collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning. Now, the students when they get exposed to SEL, how does it make how does it matter and how does it make a difference? Now, 29% students feel their school provides a supportive environment. So now, if you look at the remaining 71, like they do not feel that the school is providing them with a supportive environment. Now, this support is, of course, like as it says, social and emotional, mainly the social and emotional support. Now, the students who actually got this support, when they're given this support, they do make a gain in academic, which is, a stunning figure of 83%. Now, 83% students made an academic gain when they were given this kind of a support. Now,
Mm.
SEL academics, of course, if you look at academics, okay, only studies, no. There are a lot of other aspects. So, SEL. Now, if the SEL support was given, there were 83% students who had seen a gain and 11% gain on standardized tests. So, after the support which was given, there were 11% students who actually gained on the standardized tests as well. And this was an ongoing process. Now, in fact, if you look at this kind of research results, actually this research is going on for the past 20 years. They have been doing the, like this research. And then SEL helps in improving behavior and the attitude of the students. So when the students get this kind of a support, it definitely helps behavior and attitude. Now, a lot of schools these days, they do have the counselors in their team, and they do have inclusions manager. I don't know, like, I mean, a lot of schools do have. Some of them are, like all inclusive schools. Some of them are partly, inclusive schools, and so on. So inclusion manager or the counselors, when they give this help, when they extend this help, there's a largely, seen improvement in the behavior and attitude, and the 11% average increase in the grade point, point average GPA. So this is not me, but these are the statistics which are saying. So why SEL matters? Because it really helps the students not only academically, but also like in changing their behaviors and their attitude. Now, what are the different aspects of social and emotional learning? Now, we will be touching these aspects in the subsequent, like in the slides which are coming up. One is like we'll start with self-management, that how to manage emotions and behavior to achieve goals. Self-awareness, which is recognizing one's emotions and values as well as one's strengths and challenges. The responsible decision making process, making ethical and constructive choices about personal and social behavior. So, the decision making also is very, very important. So, when a child wants to make a decision, he should know that, okay, fine, what are the different factors we need to take care of when deciding about certain things. The relationship skills, this is very, very important. Like mainly how to form positive relationships, working in teams, collaborating with others, because being a good team player is extremely important, and this is what like SEL also focuses on. And then we talk about the social awareness, like showing an understanding and empathy for others. So we will be touching these points, not essentially in the sequence as I told earlier, but yes, we will be talking about it. So emotional learning. Now, when we say emotional learning, before we even do that, like I'll just quickly say that every child's mental health and well-being, like it's seen in the capacity of a young child within the context of the developments, like participation in the physical and social environment, to form healthy and secure relationships, experience, regulate, understand and express emotions, understand and regulate their behavior, interact appropriately with others, including the peers, and develop a secure sense of self. So, when we talk of mental health and well being, it's related to the healthy physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development. So, primarily, like we touch a lot of things. Now, I've just put in certain, like things which are quotations I picked up from here and there while I was preparing for my presentation. I said they are very, very useful, even if you read that. So emotional learning primarily is not a quick or easy lesson. Many adults never master it, but practice makes it better. So, well, emotional learning is not taught. Basically, it's an experience, right? So it's a kind of like an experience which you share as a teacher, as a mentor, you share with your students, and this is what it is. uh, the more practice young children get, the better they will be able to express their emotions and control their behavior. So this is something which comes with day-to-day routine work which we do in the classes. And the first, like Hart Pittler in one of the weeklies, he said, I believe in an important first step in building this environment of trust between the teacher and like the learner is for the teacher to be honest and open in talking about how they have learned from failure. Now, here's something very interesting I would like to share, that we as teachers, we always talk about success. Even as parents, we put pressure on our children to succeed in life, that you must get success, you must do this, look at him, look at that. And there is a lot of comparison that goes on. And a lot of times we feel that, see, not everyone can come first, not everyone can be a topper, not everyone in the world can be Usain Bolt. Okay, there can be only one Usain Bolt. So that way, like we need to understand this. And this is something which I would like to highlight right now is something to deal with failure. A lot of times we fail in teaching our students or our children how to deal and cope up with failure. And that was the point of this being here, that we need to tell them success, excellent, very well done. You got some achievements, great. But if you failed, doesn't matter. At least you tried. So that is the motivation that needs to come. And this is a kind of environment we need to create, that how to deal with failure. And that forms a part of emotional learning. When we are educating young minds, see, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And helping students to find a path to purpose is one of the noblest aspects of teaching. Now, educating the mind without the heart, without educating the heart. Now, what does this mean? Primarily, that yes, heart. In fact, I can recall what Swami Vivekananda once said. In fact, because I read a lot about Swami Vivekananda, and he said, like, whenever there is a conflict between your mind and your heart, do what your heart says. Your heart will never lie to you. Your mind will make a lot of calculations, but your heart will be honest. The truthfulness that will come out. So, I mean, this is something, which I read years ago when I was a teenager. And I read this, that Swami Vivekananda said this. I actually wrote it in big letters and I made a poster out of it and I put it near my study table, which always said this. And I used to read it. Whenever there is a conflict between your mind and your heart, do what your heart says. And this is what we need to tell our children as well, that fine, do what your heart says. That is more important. So we need to help the students, like to look at things in various aspects, and that is what is required. Then let's talk about empathy. What do we mean by empathy? And in fact, quite often I've seen people getting confused between either empathy and sympathy, or like they're not very sure what empathy could be. But here, empathy, I would like to say, is like empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. Now, heart
Wow.
comes naturally. And this is
Beautiful.
something where you put yourself into their shoes. It's not about judgment. Don't be judgmental. Stop being judgmental about anything or everything. Let us try to feel what that other person, why he reacted that way or why he acted that way. So let us not be judgmental about any particular action. And that's what empathy is all about. And that's where empathy comes into picture. And this is primarily our role. Now, I would say, like empathy, everyone needs to be empathetic. Like teaching children the kindness, empathy, and compassion are not simply a lesson learned in the classroom. These are the values that children need to see and experience frequently. So these are the values where they will develop into good human beings and good citizens only. Now we just spoke a little earlier about like collaboration. Now collaboration is and teamwork. So we need to understand each other. We need to, because when you are working in a team, you have other team players, right? And then the whole team works towards achieving one particular goal. And I'm sure a lot of teachers keep giving these examples, but that's what it is all about. That a cricket team of 11 players, not every single player strikes every time. One or the other performs and the whole team wins. So primarily it's about that teamwork, but then empathy is something where like we need to make them understand that don't be judgmental about any action. Think. So once again, I'll say empathy is seeing with the eyes of other, listening with the ears of another, and the feelings with the heart of another. And that's what is very, very important. Then I'll talk about reflection. Now, reflection helps. Definitely. Like when students feel safe and supported, they're truly ready to be able to learn. And then another quotation which I've got here is it says, like, we do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. Okay. So this is very deep. I mean, this is very, very deep quote what John Dewey has said here, that we do not learn from experience. Okay, I've experienced something, but I need to truly reflect on that experience. Now, reflection is something we need to develop. This is a characteristic, this is an attribute, a learner's attribute that we really need to develop in the children. And like we need to reflect on what has happened, why it has happened, and to take positive things from it, to take some learning from it, because it's this reflection which will help a child to learn and to go ahead. So this is something which is very, very important for us as well. Now, while we are talking about like, uh, creating like students feel safe and supported, I would like to say that we need to create a safe and supportive environment that promotes like well-being of everyone and the development. So how we can do it, like probably there are a few things we can do: developing an awareness of child's interests and achievements. We can set clear guidelines for behavior and relationships in the service and enforce them consistently. Develop honest and respectful partnerships with other staff members, because as I said, like I'm talking about not only just students but even teachers. So like developing these partnerships with our colleagues, staff members, parents, families, and other stakeholders in the school. uh, and when guidance or discipline is needed, we can actually focus on changing behaviors rather than blaming or labeling any individuals. So, this safe environment and supportive environment we need to promote. And we need to set some high and achievable expectations and acknowledge each child's strengths and abilities to support their capacity to improve and achieve. So, this is how we can create this safe environment. And then while we are creating this environment, while the child is learning with his experience, we also need to pause for a reflection. So let's pause, reflect, and then move ahead. So this is another strategy like we need to keep it in mind. Now I'll talk a little about bullying and cyberbullying. Now bullying is something which is I think it's an integral part of every institution. Uh, there are very few institutions that can say, "Oh, we are, kind of bullying free. There's no bullying in our school." Uh, there are one or two incidences, and there is a very fine line between, between teasing and bullying. There are friends who tease each other, and of course, there can be, like bullying. Sometimes when this teasing goes beyond certain limitations, it becomes bullying. And if you look at these two different quotes which are here, they tell you the whole story. Blowing out someone else's candle doesn't make yours shine any brighter. So this is something which the students they need to understand, that we don't need to put anyone else down, and then so that we raise. There is no need. We are all human beings. We need to learn to coexist. Uh, I've worked in so many, different international schools and different countries, and I've come across. I mean, it's not that I've not come across. I've come across even racist remarks, racism in the school, and it has been, like a matter of serious concerns. And I'll be honest with you that yes, the schools I've worked with, they were very, very proactive on such cases, and we have dealt with such kind of bullying, whether it was to do with ethnicities or races or any kind. We've dealt with them very, very seriously. And see, when someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you don't stoop to the level. No, our motto is when they go low, we go high. So primarily, like when somebody is trying to do that, and we need to understand that we need to go high. So bullying is something which is happening, which happens, but we all need to tackle it and just deal with it seriously. The school must have the policies in place for this. That yes, there is a policy. Why I'm talking about this now, bullying and cyberbullying, I'll just go to the next slide about like cyberbullying. With online classes, I was reported, uh, even by my own teachers, when we started, when the pandemic struck somewhere in the month of March, and when we started having online classes. Right now, I'll tell you, like Seychelles is in fact almost COVID free. We have our regular schools. The country was in lockdown only for 3 weeks in the month of March and April. For just and we the school was closed for 5 weeks because Easter holidays got clubbed there. Now, during those 5 weeks, we started with online classes, and some teachers reported to me about a lot of cyberbullying cases, that there were students who probably would like join the lessons, and they would probably pass on irrelevant comments, vulgar and racist remarks, and sometimes some of them will even put like posters with a lot of vulgarity in it, and these kind of things were happening. Now, this is why we need to really be very, very vigilant about this, that cyberbullying is happening. Well, cyberbullying is not a new term. I mean, we all are dealing with from ages, I'm sure, especially like with international schools. We all know that yes, most students, they use like smartphones, electronic gadgets. They are all online, they use social media. So cyberbullying is nothing new, but with online classes as well. In fact, the bullying started even at a level that some of the students started bullying teachers. And I'm really surprised, and this is a big truth, that this also happened. Now, it was up to the teachers. Yes, they were all new, they were trying to go, and they couldn't identify who that student was, because their login names and the name with which they entered into the classrooms were different, and the name did not mean anything to them and they couldn't identify. So these kind of things were going on. So we need to be very, very careful about the cyberbullying and the security in place. So the cyber security is very, very important. So the code says technology is a useful servant but a dangerous master. So it can be a very dangerous master as well. And like passwords, yes, the students also need to know this, the teachers also need to know this, that keep changing your passwords. If you're using your online classes, in your online classes, make sure that every student has his or her name very clearly written as a username, and the teacher must have the rights to allow those students to be a part of the class. Then all their other rights are like off, they are on mute, plus they cannot post anything. If you want, you can restrict them. So all such things, and these kind of things we need to really control. But it has a big impact on the emotional well-being of students. I was reading a case study of a school. Uh, uh, it was somewhere in Europe, and it was about like, of course, social media was involved, and there was this talks about like use of mobile phones in the schools and so on. And this case study was about like some of the boys, bullying the girls by bringing like while shooting them in the school, video shots in very inappropriate conditions and so on. And then these kind of bullyings were going on, and that had a huge emotional setback on some of the girls involved. So we keep reading such kind of cases and news and all that. So we need to be very, very aware of this, that yes, there is something of this sort going on. And it can have an impact on the emotional and the mental well-being of the children. They can suffer. It can be a trauma, and it can be so traumatic that it goes on for a year or two, or sometimes even it's lifetime. So we need to be very, very careful about that as well. So cyberbullying and bullying is one aspect which I wanted to touch, because I have seen people and I've seen teachers, in fact. Uh, I'm saying personally, seen means I've personally dealt with even teachers who have faced the cyberbullying issues. Then there is another thing which is about the anger management. The COVID-19 scenario has kind of, uh, s- locked people inside their houses. Even now, like, okay, there was lockdown, then the country opened. I'm talking about like, well, as I said, Seychelles, we are lucky we were having regular school. Even till now, we have regular school. But if I talk of India and other schools, in many parts of the world, the schools are closed. People are in a lockdown or they're locked. Of course, the schools are closed, so the students are at home. And if they're homebound, the frustration, like within those, four walls of the house, it increases. They don't get an opportunity to go out of the house, meet friends, go here and there and all that. Now this not only creates frustration, but a complete twist in their behavior, a complete behavioral change pitches in, and that's what needs to be dealt with. And in fact, many a times we've seen, and we have actually faced, there are students who actually become very, very angry, annoyed, violent, and that's where we need to learn about. I mean, the teachers need to implement this, the parents need to implement this, if you have counselors in place, they need to implement this. So it's all over, and even the teachers also need to do that. Like, if the students are homebound, even the teachers are homebound. So we need to make them understand that, okay, anger doesn't solve anything and it builds nothing, but it can destroy everything. So try to manage your anger, since people can't manage their stupidity. And if another can easily anger you, it is because you are off balance with yourself. So this is these quotations. Now, even these can be shared. The quotations which I made use of, these can be shared, like with this. Now, there are just a few things which, based on this, I would like to say, like how we can help children learn this social and emotional skills and manage their own behavior. I said, like, there are changes in their behavior, how they can do this. We need to say model effective social and emotional skills in behavior and relationships, set some practical tasks and cooperative activities that promote problem solving, social skills, negotiation skills, and communication. And trust me, these can be done online as well. There can be a lot of online collaborative exercises or such activities that can be done. So we can set some practical tasks for the students, and we need to help children to develop an understanding of their own emotions and empathy for the feeling of others. We've already discussed about empathy. Teach children skills for managing difficult emotions, such as going to a safe quiet place, relaxation, talking about feelings, etc. I'll cover this as well towards the end, like in the coping strategies part. And help children to identify, plan, and work towards a goal, both individually and in group activities. So when we see these kind of, like changes in behavior or anger management issues, this is very, very important. And yeah, then comes like when we talk about this, like setting up their own goals, like as we said, like help a child in planning and working towards their own goal. Something which is very, very important is self belief. Now self belief means you do not have doubts. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. You do it because making yourself proud is one of the best feelings in the world. This is something that, should be a poster right in every classroom. A child must be proud of what they have done, like, and this is the best feeling when you're proud of yourself, that yes, I've done this and I've achieved this. So this is something that really keeps on motivating them. This is something which will keep them going. Oh yes, we need to do this. So this is something very, very important. um, I'll just put a quote that never believe your doubts and never doubt your beliefs. This is a quote which in fact I've had, like I'm used it as a signature statement even with my emails. So when I'm
Wonderful.
sending emails, this is something which even like Dr. Gulshan Sharma, if you replies, I'm sure you will see probably at the end of my replies, everywhere
Yes,
it says never believe your doubts and never doubt your beliefs. So
yes,
this is something which is, again, like it keeps me going, it keeps me going. And in fact, I hope at least a few people, when they receive my email, they read this statement, and it's somewhere, it strikes them. And that's something very, very important. So that's self belief. Now, how I'm just coming down to towards the end of this like presentation, but telling people that okay, how to cope with this anxiety, the nervousness, the frustration or anger management, and all these issues which we've just discussed, how it is important. And in fact, this applies to everyone, the staff, the teachers, as well as even our students. How they can do is with the help of yoga and meditation. Trust me, this really helps. You, out of 24 hours, you just need to give yourself 15 to 20 minutes every single day, and I'm sure we can give ourselves 15 to 20 minutes every day. A 5 to 10 minutes of meditation is really, really good enough, and then a little bit of yoga. If you can do more, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, great. Sun salutation or Surya Namaskar is something which I personally believe a lot in, because it has got 12 different postures. It's a wholesome exercise, and I can guarantee and I can tell with conviction, very strong conviction, that sun salutation or Surya Namaskar is extremely helpful for the whole body. So you need to take out those 20 minutes for yourself every day and do this, and you'll find that these changes very soon in yourself, in your body, as well as in your mind. Now, meditation, of course, relaxes you a lot. There are different ways of forms of meditation, and it really like you. It's entirely your choice which way you want to go. The next step I would like to suggest is talk to someone you trust. Like when you're facing these difficult situations, you have to have somebody in your life. I mean, you see a picture, best friends forever. So you may have a friend whom you trust so much that, yes, this I can share it with my friend. And there's another picture where you see that, like a person is talking with a mirror in hand. There are two different people, in fact. And this is what it is. You need to talk out, vent it out. Uh, but of course, like it should be somebody whom you can trust. So talk to them. It will really be helpful. It really helps. Now, this is some very interesting, like picture. And this also I suggest to a lot of people and students. If you remember, Dr. Gulshan Sharma, do you remember the scene?
Yes, it is Sharabi.
Yeah, it's a scene of Sharabi, but it's from the movie Amar
Amitabh.
Akbar. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's where Amitabh was drunk. So
Yes,
Amitabh Bachchan
yes.
was drunk, and
Hmm,
he's talking to himself in this scene.
hmm,
And you look at these expressions and the ways it was a very funny comic scene full of comedy. And it
hmm.
was like the way Amitabh Bachchan did it was fantabulous. But
Yes,
this is also strategy, mirror strategy. Talk to
yes.
yourself, stand in front of the mirror. There is a person, a gentleman, or a beautiful lady in the mirror. Talk to that person and speak your heart out again, because that is the person who can give you a lot of replies. Many a times we see such, like scenes in serials, TV serials, or even in movies, that somebody, like they see their own reflection or their own, somebody coming in and talking like their own self. But this mirror strategy means physically standing in front of a mirror and talk to yourself and see. It also helps. So mirror strategy is something which I can suggest. It really helps a lot. Then start writing a journal. You can keep writing, a diary or a journal where you put in your, like day to day, whatever happened. Why this helps is like something which is troubling you a lot today. You pen it down, and even after 5 days, when you go back to your diary and you read it, and you'll find that something which was troubling you that very moment is almost zero now, in just a matter of 5 days. I'm telling you, 5 days, it can be even 1 days or 2 days. But let's say if you revisit what you had written 5 days ago, and you find that, oh, the pain that you were having that moment, or the feelings that you were having that moment of extreme nervousness or anxiety, they are all gone with just in last few hours. So when you write a journal, this really helps you in keeping a check of your feelings. Write your feelings, keep writing it, and you'll find that yes, it really helps. And you, oh, fine. That day I was so worried, and it's nothing. It's all sorted out. A lot of things, like 80% of things, were my own, like manufacturing. My mind was a manufacturing unit which was doing it, and nothing happened. So this is how a writing a diary or journal can actually help you. And finally, one of the advices is I would like to give is seek advice. You should seek advice in the right places. You should know the person. This is something where a professional, like if you really feel that yes, you've tried all the strategies to deal with the social, emotional aspects, the emotional and the mental aspects also, you really need to go to someone. It can be like for a student, it can be a teacher, coordinator, the principal. For a teacher, also, it can be their own like immediate boss or the principal or the vice principal in their school or a colleague they can trust in, or even to seek a professional advice. We have like a lot of psychologists, educational psychologists, psychotherapists. Don't be afraid, don't be scared of going to such people for seeking advice. I mean, I'm sitting today like uh, into teaching profession for more than 25 years. But let me share it with all the people who are online with me right now. There was a time even I had to go to a psychiatrist to seek advice immediately when after I finished my 12th and I went into my college. There were some situations which were beyond my control, and I was kind of under depression, and we tried everything. Finally, we had to seek a professional advice. There is no harm. A psychiatrist doesn't mean that you are pagal, and that's the reason you are going to a psychiatrist. No, it's not. So it basically it helps you a lot, and that really was, I think, one of the great decisions which my I made and my family made. That yes, we decided that we okay, we'll go to a psychiatrist and seek the help. So if something like that happens, seek professional advice or seek advice in the right places. So this is how we can actually cope up with this. So that was all from me, Dr. Gulshan Sharma.
Wonderful.
And,
Such
I
a
hope,
pleasure. Such a pleasure.
yeah, I hope I touched all the right points
Yes.
and at right places. And that's it from me. So I stop
Lovely.
sharing screen
Lovely.
now. Thank you so much,
My
in fact, for this opportunity.
my deep regards and thanks to you. It was so wonderful. It was awesome, and I think people must have traveled mentally to Seychelles, and beautiful shots which you have shown with your family. And first of all, blessings to your son who has made this
Thank
presentation
you
for
so
you.
much.
My regards for him, and lots
Yeah.
of love for him. That's really lovely, lovely.
Thank
Now,
you.
now it is right over here. Something very interesting. There are two points from Mr. Rabindranath ji. He is the former CMD with the NSIC, that is under the aegis of Ministry of MSME, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise in India. So there are two things he would just like to know from Seychelles, that how do you ensure that the students coming out of educational institutions are industry ready? And second point is that or there is industry academia linkage which imparts skill sets for a ready absorption by the industry. So how's the setup over there in Seychelles? I mean, say that would answer the things much better. How's the setup over there? Are the student industry ready to be absorbed immediately, or do they go somewhere else and take up a work, or what exactly is the uh, scenario?
Okay, well, Dr. Sharma, this is quite an interesting question for from the Seychelles point of view, to be honest. See, one is, as I said, Seychelles is a very small country, and the
Because
population is 90,000.
Rabindranath ji has done a lot of work in Mauritius, so that's
Okay.
why he knows Seychelles. So that's why.
Yeah, of course, I'm sure he must be knowing it. So
Yeah.
now the thing is that yes, with the population less than 90,000, and with again like the strength of the students who are studying here is actually very low.
Hmm.
If I say the manufacturing sector here in Seychelles is almost negligible,
Hmm.
the only big manufacturing unit here, which I see, there are two. One is the Sebrew, the Seychelles breweries, and the Indian Ocean Tuna Factory, like IoT. So
Okay.
these two, and IoT is again almost a part of fisheries. So it's
Okay.
like, yeah, I mean, what they do is like, yeah, they catch fish, and then we all have seen those tinned fishes, which are exported.
Yeah.
So these two are the ones, but what happens here is like after the students have finished, like the schooling, there is a Seychelles Maritime Academy, which in fact takes a lot of students because, as I said, like Seychelles economy is more into tourism and the blue economy, which is fisheries based. Now, both tourism and blue economy. So, Seychelles Maritime Academy actually caters to a lot of such programs where, they have their, vocational programs, which are diplomas and like certificate programs, where they make these students ready to take up jobs in different professions which are related to the seas, like fishermen, boatmen. Then if mechanics which are required for boats. Then when you go up, deep into the sea, how to handle submarines. So Maritime Academy is mainly into that. But apart from that, yes, there is Seychelles, like University of Seychelles, that also has got some programs which are vocational. And like of course there are different departments where these students are prepared to take up jobs. And quite a number of students. In fact, they go abroad as well for studies.
Mhm.
So, like when you talk of the particular skill sets for industries, as I said,
Mhm.
like mainly it is the Maritime Academy catering to the needs of this both tourism as well as fisheries.
Okay, wonderful. And like in Mauritius, French language is outrightly quite a bit. Seychelles also, you have got a French language?
French, in fact, French and English are the national languages here, official
Okay,
primarily official language. But
okay,
Creole, now Creole is the language which is based on French, though
okay,
it's a little different. But Creole is what most of the local people, the native Seychelles, they speak, which is based on French. But
great.
officially, French and English are the official languages. Yeah.
Great, great. Meenakshi ji has posted quite a bit. You are hitting right nail with every word. Excellent session. And finally, she has written, emotional health should be taken up by every industry and corporate. Workplace stress gets into the kitchen, bedroom, and everywhere, percolating into behavior and relationship. So it's more like a statement and a wonderful statement.
She's, yeah, actually, I would say she's actually hit the nail. I mean, yes. I'm
Yeah.
saying that emotional
Uh,
health is taken up by
so
every
thank,
industry and
yeah,
corporate. Yeah,
yes. So thank
excellent.
you very much, Mr. Ashish Bhatnagar ji, and it was such a pleasure to have you with us. It was a wonderful session. We enjoyed thoroughly. And ladies and gentlemen, let me share with all of you, Ashish Bhatnagar ji originates from Rajasthan. He belongs to Rajasthan, and he was very kind. We had one session earlier with was a group of people, and our chamber had organized a special kind of a conference in which he joined, and he was kind, and I spotted him, and thereafter I requested him, why not we should have one exclusive session with you. So this was a wonderful take this evening. He was very kind, and he spared his most valuable time. Social and emotional well-being of students and teachers and the entire education ecosystem. We pray to Almighty good days for your wife, for your child, and everything should be fine with you. And it is heartening to note that there is hardly any hitting of the corona there in Seychelles, and just a 4 to 5 weeks break, and thereafter resuming the work and all that. So thank you very much. And a final note from your side, and then we close down.
Yeah, very kind of you, Dr. Sharma, and thanks to all the audiences who have joined in live today. And a big, big thanks from me to you and ICSI for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. And we probably will do some more sessions later on different
Very
topics.
kind, very kind, very kind.
Thank you so
Thank you very
much.
much. Bring more like-minded people in the fold, because ultimately the aim is, you see at the backdrop, I have written making education relevant. My
Yeah,
life at the 72 now rests only on three words. Let's make education relevant. Nothing else.
yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
And we'll
thank
try to
you.
make more people join us. Sure. Thank you so
Yes.
much. All
Stay
right.
safe. Thank you, and regards to your family.